Hi, everyone. Today is day 51 of my last semester as a college professor, and it's the end of the work week. It's Thursday. Of course, I have work to do this weekend, but it feels good to have this week finished. This class was not especially great. It was an ESL 4A class. We did grammar, and I did a lot about direct speech and indirect speech, quoted speech, reported speech, that kind of thing. And I don't despair because I always say that the students have to study it in order to get it. Their class at best is a little bit of an introduction and some practice, but that if you really want to learn this material, you have to go back home and really spend some time, which is basically what you do in any class that's basically about note taking, and then you go home and practice it, whether it be math or anything, history or whatever. You have to take the notes and you listen, but you don't really absorb it until you actually go home and study it. So the same thing is true of an ESL class. I'm not expecting the students to be experts right away, but if they practice with me and then they go home and practice some more, the opportunity to improve is there, and they can improve quickly. It's hard to like figure out a program for yourself. I'm finding out, like as a piano um, student, that like teachers can teach you, but you have to kind of put it into action in order for you to be able to become better at what you're trying to do. And a lot of what I've done as a piano student has been trying to remember what my teacher has told me so that I can implement it when I start practicing. And sometimes that's successful, but usually I forget half of the stuff, or 90% of the stuff that she's taught me. And the next class I have to kind of go back and retreat and figure it all out again. But that's okay. So we after we did that, that had taken up most of the morning, most of the first part of the morning, and then we took a break. And after the break, we had another opportunity to listen to two students do work on their Italian project, and they did presentations that were really good. Tatovic did one with a young woman from Italy who was an only child, and she did a great job. And then it was time for Kyung Ja to do hers, and she had an equally interesting presentation on a different kind of student, and Rebecca, and she did a good job. So I felt like that was very successful. It takes time, 10 minutes for the presentations, and then maybe 5 to 7 minutes to wrap up the presentation. And I enjoy that aspect of the class, even though, I did do a lot of the speaking today, which is okay, but, ideally the students have turned on to do it. Also, I might mention that before class at 7 a.m. this morning, I had a meeting with Sara Tosa from Italy, with whom I worked on the project that is called the Italian project over here. I think it's called the United States project over there, the American project. But anyway, but it was great because as I was talking with Sarah, I realized that the way we have to do our presentation for the Italian teacher audience is to say this is what, not just this is what we did, but this is why what we did was really important for you, and you can do it too. So that's kind of like what I came to. And I have to like pat myself on the back a little bit because I can come up with very creative ideas when I'm kind of like my feet are to the fire and I have to figure something out. And I'm glad that we have 2 weeks before we have to do this presentation, because I'm really thinking that we can turn this into a cottage industry where we travel around Italy together, Sarah and I, and give these presentations of um, how to use projects such as this to enhance their students' learning. And I think that would be really valuable for students both in Italy and the United States. But I don't know if that'll ever come through. But it's okay just to think that we can, because the idea was that you have to make. There's no reason to have a passive audience just listening to you tell about your accomplishments. I always feel like it's best if you tell them that they can accomplish what you accomplished, and probably more than you accomplished. That's always the thing. And by the way, that's one thing I wanted to say about TED Talks. You know, I've listened to the TED Talks and I really think they're great and very valuable. But I think they should transform it a little bit and say, look, I did this and you can do it too. And this is how you do it. And I think that would be really smart for them to do that. I guess they do that in a way. You know, they inspire you to act like the people that give the speeches, that's for sure. And I guess that's all I'm trying to say. Like we want to inspire teachers to be creative in their classroom and find this experience to be good. After that, we spent 45 minutes or less, 40 minutes on the island of blue dolphins. I'm just trying to get them to the end, you know. So today we went through her nursing a sea otter back to life, and then meeting the sea otter later and finding out that what she thought was a male sea otter is really a female sea otter. So there was kind of like that. The best thing I'd say about that was the fact that we got through a couple of chapters and we're almost to the end. And I have to get to the end. I only have 3 more classes with these students, and we have a lot to accomplish in the next week or two. So next week I'll have 2 classes. Then I'm going to go to San Antonio and I'm not going to teach on Monday and Tuesday. And then when I get back on Wednesday and Thursday, I guess that's the 26th and the 27th, I'm going to go great guns to get them done. And then that'll be the end officially. No, but unofficially of this class. So that'll be interesting to do. So how am I feeling? I didn't think I'd get to the end. I remember when I started the semester, I had nothing to say to students. I felt like my classes were going to be terrible. I felt like I'd be overwhelmed and not really happy with it. And, 14 weeks in, I feel like, I've done the best I could. I've done really good in some days, and most days I've done adequately. And if you look at the sum total of my work, I did about as well as I could expect myself to do. Um, I certainly fulfilled my contractual end of it, and I think the students did too. And I'm excited for them, and I'm also excited to be near the end because you know, I don't want to do what been doing for the last 25 years anymore. I want to shift it up and make it even better. So thank you for the time and thank you for listening to me.